firing away these grenadiers, forcing them into retreat, securing the north. However, briefly once more, and Americans going for the central southern victory point, but Panzer grenadiers are quick to stop that nonsense with their assault rifles, and we do have the increased squad sizes for the Panzer grenadiers. In fact, and what do we have here? A Funkwagen manned by a half-track. Might drop some Goliaths, who knows? And this sniper is apparently set to hold fire and might be discovered by the riflemen. Yes, there we go. And the AR's firing away. Oh no, this sniper once more forgotten by his commander. He is left behind and is cleared out. And another Calliope barrage firing away, crushing all in his path with lots of rockets. And going for this victory point, but it is covered by this bunker with another MG42 gunner in it. And what is this? Goliath moving in, detonating, only killing one rifleman though, but still certainly rare. You do see Goliaths. We're certainly seeing a lot of new units, and of course the Funkwagen is much more useful now with the camouflage ability. And of course placing it right here so you can begin siphoning fuel off. Really sneaky. Certainly not a bad idea. Mr. Daule is really floating a lot of fuel. And well, what will we see? Knights crossholders, not a Panzer IV though. I would have expected that, but that will so not be a bad thing. Still one Panther left for them, and some armored cars as well. But the Germans have been able to withstand the attrition a bit better though, I might say. And a fresh Panther battle group. How many Panthers does he have, Mr. 3p1phany? What are these simply Panthers that have been repaired through the retreat, as the Germans were quite keen on getting out damaged and wrecked tanks and then getting them ready for combat again. In fact, at one point, the head of the 2nd SS Panther Corps, Sepp Dietrich, in fact, personally awarded some mechanics the Iron Cross for their unstoppable efforts in repairing German tanks and getting them back into battle at such quick paces, which does really say something how the Germans really were able to get their armor back into the battle again, whereas with the Americans, if something was damaged or needed replacement, they just throw it away and replace it with a new. Usually, I mean, a lot, for example, in the Pacific, a lot of planes were just dropped over the side of the carrier ships because it was just easier than actually waiting for replacement parts. Looks like these pioneers are right next to the victory point, but they are not going for it. Apparently they have been forgotten. Large American assault now running into the Knights crossholders with their assault rifle emergency 3. But they are taking a lot of fire though. And what is this? But it looks like they're getting torn apart. And we have a bombing run, I think, moving in. Dropping bombs. Knocking out the engine of the Panther. Another war machine assault from the M10s. Almost knocking out another Panther. And Panther out of control alongside this M10. Another Calliope Barrage really firing away, doing damage to all of these Panthers. And a V1 rocket again. Where will it hit? I hope this time to actually catch it. There we go. Oh my bloody hell. Knocking out those two Calibes with one V1. That was certainly quite effective, certainly a much better payoff, and certainly an extremely tough blow to the Americans, but apparently War Machine was still in effect, and one was replaced alongside those M10s, so not all is lost, I think. And a satchel charge on the bunker. That will certainly be very nasty, and again MG42 gunners clearing out. Those airborne are still there, firing away at all the stands in their way. Knights crossholders hoping to catch down this sniper, but a German sniper does the job. And the Knights crossholders are not to be stopped, despite everything. And in reality, there wouldn't really be any such Knights crossholder units, of course. Well, that didn't stop Knights crossholders from actually fighting at all. More likely you might have had some sort of squad composed of NCOs and some more desperate times, but that's really it, I think. And we see the M10s trying to hold off everything, but not much luck. Calliope nearby, and let's go have a look at Mr. 3p1phany once more. A lot of command points, might be close to a Jagdpanther for all I know. Going for the central victory point once more, hoping to stop the countdown, and there we go. Jagdpanther dreaded heavy tank destroyer, also a bit of a heavy assault gun sometimes, from some schwere Panzerabteilung, or the remnants of it, called in. Apparently Mr. 3p1phany had this up his sleeve for the final push, the final breakthrough here at Duclair, throwing everything into the furnace of war in the hopes of breaking through. This Panther still roaming the battlefields, being an absolute horror to the Americans, and now this Jagdpanther will certainly join the effort as well with its high velocity 88mm gun. Will certainly be a bit of a threat to both armor and infantry, albeit not as much to infantry, although it was actually a bit conceived as a heavy assault gun for some reason. So not a bad idea. Now let's go have a look at Mr. Sungea and see what's happening there. All abilities are available, certainly bombing runs, strafing runs, anti-tank guns being dropped in, and supply drops. Everything, and now moving through the north, hoping to do a bit of harassment there. Central victory point within their grasp. And let's have a look at FrBandofBrothers. And he has called in a Pershing, goodness gracious, American heavy armor, the 3rd Armoured Division, also throwing in everything they have. Numerous tank destroyer platoons having already gone up in smoke. Calliopes, but no Shermans though, not besides the Calliopes, but now a Pershing as well, really doing their best to crush the German breakout attempt. Suffering heavy losses, but they are not giving up. And airborne forced into a full retreat. And the Jagdpanther so far has not been revealed, certainly not a bad idea. Sometimes you want to hide those units as sort of a ace up your sleeve and surprise your opponent with them, but I do believe that has revealed it if the opponent is of course paying attention.
The enemy is down to 100 points.
Though the Calliope didn't actually do much damage, and now the Pershing is moving in. The Pershing only arriving by the late stages of the war, around the time of the end of the Battle of the Bulge. Not many arrived of them on the battlefield. In fact, there were more Jagdtigers in World War II than there were Pershing tanks. And a head-on fight with all those Panthers, and a Bergtiger as well. Goodness gracious, apparently hoping for his best to really keep those remaining Panthers operational. Will certainly be necessary. Anti-tank guns, M10s. This is really looking to be a large armored fight right in the center. Pershing leading the charge. Allied war machine really doing his best to not care about losses and really hoping to just trade numbers. This is certainly the attrition game. He would certainly have made a good Soviet commander, this French. And there we go. Pershing M10 wrecked. And the war machine is no longer applicable, since Pershings are quite a heavy thing to replace. And we have a Bergtiger out, a Panther out, and looks like this Panther is almost also out. Packs are though nearby to help alongside this, of course, this Jagdpanther. Calliope for some reason got a bit too close and is now wrecked. Apparently it might have been the Jagdpanther wrecking it out with its high velocity guns, anti-tank guns, so still unleashing hell on the remaining German armor. And they will certainly have to get out of there. And what is this? Grenadiers have snuck in, taking this point for victory and for the fatherland. So not a bad idea, and let's return to Mr. Daule, who is now close to the King Tiger himself, but he does not have enough population to actually call it in. Otherwise that would certainly be even more heavy armor. Would certainly also mean they've been able to recover a King Tiger for the final push at Duclair. Certainly some resourceful Germans in this Kampfgruppe Daule, with Major Daule and of course Hauptmann 3p1phany. The Panther fires away, crushing those sneaky airborne, but not having much luck with it, it seems though, but does kill a few with every shot. And now fresh Grenadiers and Knights Cross Holders moving in, but the M10 and of course the recovered Pershing is there as well. Again, quite a lot of firepower, and again Allied war machine once more just throwing it away in a rather aggressive attack. Hoping to perhaps knock out things, but this time it does seem to get a bit wiser and does pull it out before it is irrevocably lost before. And war machine then of course not leaves it, meaning it won't actually be returned. Jagdpanther though continues in right into the line of fire of all those anti-tank guns. Americans do recover the northern victory point, but not really good. And what is this? Another Calliope barrage, but apparently not doing much damage this time around. Knights cross soldiers charging in once more, taking fire from the Pershing. And now beginning to clear out those anti-tank guns, which are certainly quite a nuisance to the German war effort. And the breakthrough, not a lot of infantry left, still no medic station, but there are some airborne left who are now being thrown in once more to try and contain the German breakout, but it certainly seems to be slowly slipping beyond their grasp and capability, as they are suffering heavy losses, and the Germans don't seem to stop coming, and they certainly seem to be taking more with their grave than they are being killed. And the Jagdpanther certainly continues to blast away as well, and we see the Funkwagen getting closer to the center as well, also getting further Goliaths. Certainly quite sneaky. MG42 fire, hoping to catch those airborne, and this Goliath could perhaps move in, or it might just do nothing. And the airborne do fire up right past it, and now the Goliath is on the move. Forced retreat, which does mean that this Goliath won't be of much help. Other airborne team moving for the center, but they are also forced into retreat as the Jagdpanther continues to fire high explosive shells at them. And certainly this central area is just one huge plain of death. Every notable feature has been blasted away a long time ago, except this victory point. Riflemen moving straight into the mix. Knights cross soldiers taking heavy damage from the Pershing. Strafing round moving in, doing quite a bit of damage, and grenades moving in. Riflemen slaying some of those Knights cross soldiers. Will the last one get away? Looks like it just barely. And the units continue to the task of repairing the Pershing. MG42 covering the central victory point. No attempt at taking the southern victory point again, though. And another Calliope barrage. There's really no stopping those, are there? And Goliaths now moving in to cover that central victory point and be right nearby. Goliaths being able to cloak while in cover, certainly good to note. Can certainly be a lot more explosive than a mine and can really knock out numerous infantry teams. And another Calliope moving in, and further American riflemen from Sungea. No armor from him though, just airborne and riflemen. And now the King Tiger is ready to arrive on the field. Just a bit more manpower, and not only shall there be a Jagdpanther, there shall be the King Tiger, which will certainly be an awful lot of firepower to meet the Allies. Not entirely sure where that Jagdpanther has gone though. There we go. Taking some repairs from those Panzer grenades, possibly having received an upgrade. And Pershing moving in once more, firing away. Not really managing any kills though. There we go, one kill. Probably a Knight's Cross holder, and looks like Daule